Jen, will you allow me to go on a rant?
Always. I love your rant.
So I want to get to
Except when they're directed at me.
I want to get to Bernie and Bernie going after the progressive gaslighting. But real quick on coronavirus, I want to read to you, folks. Here's the situation in Flint, Michigan. Remember Flint, Michigan? 6.5 years later, no clean water. Happened under Obama. Obama just had the audacity to show up in Flint, Michigan in the last days before the election to campaign for Biden. Said, acted like he was, yeah, I'm with you, Flint, even though I left you to die. Trump obviously hasn't done a goddamn thing for Flint, Michigan. 6.5 years later, still don't have clean water. They still don't have Medicare for all. People are still 6.5 years later getting rashes and other health disasters. People feeling faint in the shower from the water. These are people Jen and I speak with. It's not our opinion. We have sources, and we have been there between the both of us 20 times. We know what we're talking about. 6.5 years later, they don't have clean water in Flint, Michigan. Obama was the president. The Democrats were the oversight, had the oversight committee. They were in charge of it. Nobody's been brought to justice. And I don't know, Jen, I'm not a doctor, but I think if a whole city was poisoned, everybody, from the young people to the old people, are kind of equally immuno-challenged and susceptible to a deadly pandemic. Did they do anything for Flint for coronavirus to add extra protections for these people? Did they expand Medicare for Flint because of the water crisis? Absolutely not. And now we're seeing Hurley Hospital in Flint is at 98% capacity as new COVID cases are spiking. Hurley Hospital has the highest occupancy rate of any hospital system in the state of Michigan amid the most powerful surge of new coronavirus infections since the start of the pandemic. Tracking by the state of Michigan shows Hurley occupancy has risen to 98.2% as of Monday, up nearly 5% in the past 5 days. And this region of the state also shows the highest collective hospital occupancy rate in Michigan at 88%. Despite a 7-day average of 140 new daily infections in Genesee County, a Hurley spokesperson said COVID admissions are not the primary cause of the hospital's high occupancy, with just 31 cases as of Monday, up by just 4 cases since Friday. Well, Jen, as we know, because unlike CNN, unlike MSNBC, unlike the New York Times, unlike the Washington Post, unlike all of them, you and I, between the both of us, have been there over 20 times since 2016. The hospitals have lied. The government has lied. And I don't trust that hospital as far as I can see them to say, oh, only 31 cases are from COVID. Not a chance. McLaren Hospital, for those of you from Flint, they lied out of their teeth in 2014, 2015 about the amount of Legionella cases they had and the source. And I don't believe Hurley Hospital saying, yeah, we're at 98% capacity, but most of them are in because, they hurt they broke their toenail or something. No, it's coronavirus. And this is an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I understand that over the last 4.5 years, the biggest scandal in America was the Russian boogeyman. I understand that over the last 4.5 years, the biggest scandal was Stormy Daniels. I understand that over the last 4.5 years, the biggest scandal was Trump's tweets and farts and whatever. I understand that he's a fascist. I understand that he's a threat. But you want to know something? When Americans are poisoned by their own government and then left to die by that government, Republicans and Democrats, I think that's more scandalous than Russia. I think that's more scandalous than the president bending norms. But you want to know why they don't give a god? Because they're black, they're poor white, and they're in Flint. And more people in Flint, if you look at the numbers in Genesee County, Flint is in Genesee County. Genesee County has, I think, 405,000 population. Flint, 95,000. Flint and Flint Township make up 40% of the cases of the entire county. Well, why do you think that is? Because they've been poisoned. Because they have heavy metal poisoning in their body. Because they have neurological problems. because they are immunocompromised, because they have cancers, epilepsies, Parkinson's. We've seen it all. And occasionally, Jen, we get celebrities now and then, hashtag Flint, Michelle Wolf, the comedian at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, dropped the mic. Flint doesn't have clean water. And then everybody's a Flint warrior for an hour. It's trending. And then nobody gives a shit again. But this is outrageous that, for those of you that don't know, Libby, Montana, 96% white, they had a massive arsenic issue. Asbestos, not arsenic. A massive asbestos issue in Obamacare. You know what was snuck into Obamacare for the 96% white Libby, Montana, because of their massive asbestos problem? They got Medicare for all. What did 53% black Flint, Michigan get? A kick in the ass. And that is why you see Hurley Hospital at 98% capacity. That is why you see Flint and Flint Township as almost the majority of the cases in Genesee County. That is why more black people are going to die in Flint. That is why more poor white people are going to die in Flint. The media don't give a damn. I think Biden didn't say. I think Biden barely said anything about the Flint water crisis when he spoke there, I think 2 days before the election. So it's an outrage. And frankly, if you want to move Biden left, I don't think that's going to happen. But it's very easy, Jen, for the wine moms and the resistance owls and all these people to occasionally tweet about Flint when it's vogue. It's a lot harder 6.5 years later to keep talking about it, to keep going there, to keep investigating it, as you and I are investigating a follow-up right now. This is outrageous. I don't want to say Flint is, it's outrageous that people are dying everywhere. But you have communities that are especially vulnerable to coronavirus because they've been poisoned. It's not just Flint, Native Americans with the high cancer rates and the fracking and the mining and all that. And our government has done nothing. And it's outrageous.
Well, when, you talk about Flint residents being immunocompromised, and that is a huge, huge part of it. But it's compounded by, think about how important it is to wash your hands as part of this. Well, how do you wash your hands? The people in Flint are terrified to wash their hands. They often keep bottles of water next to the sink. They won't use the water that runs through their taps, and rightly so, because the water that runs through their taps is still contaminated. The piping that runs through their homes is full of lead. Like many have not had the pipes in their homes replaced because they can't afford to do so, and the corrosive material, the lead, it's all in their homes' pipes. And even those who have had their interior plumbing, the piping replaced, it's still not necessarily good water. So many of them do, keep the bottles of water next to their sinks, but that's really expensive. And if they've lost their jobs, they can no longer afford to buy that water. The free bottled water is no longer available. Sometimes it's available through the churches, but then how do you find a way to get to the churches to pick up the bottles of water? And then how do you social distance in doing so? How do you afford the masks to go get there? And how do you afford the Purell, which hand sanitizer, it works in a pinch, but it works dramatically better to wash your hands with warm and soapy water. So you have immunocompromised people in poorer areas with a lack of the ability to simply wash one's hands. And it really, all of those things stack on top of each other. And then they don't have healthcare. And if they do have healthcare, it's inadequate healthcare. And then they don't have the money to go get a COVID test, or maybe they don't have transportation to go get a COVID test. Or, so it's a variety.
Over 20% of Flint doesn't have transportation.
Yeah. And it's not walkable. Like these houses, it's not a city where you can just simply walk or take mass transportation. It's spread out. It's almost like suburbia in many areas. So not like nice suburbia. Like you can't walk everywhere. It's as simple as that. So there's problem on top of problem on top of problem, and these people are left on their own with no resolution. And so it's no surprise that this hospital, Hurley, is filled to the brim with patients. And it's also no surprise, like Jordan said, that they're most likely lying about the types of patients that they do have.
By the way, just so you understand that it's not only that this is an injustice, this whole crisis is corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption. When we say they're lying, we're not just spitballing. We're telling you they're lying because Flint is a cesspool with private interests trying to basically sweep the water crisis under the rug. Why are they trying to sweep the water crisis under the rug? Why are they trying to say the water is fine now? Because if it gets out that the water is still bad, that people are still getting rashes, that their eyes are burning when they shower, that people's hair still falls out in the shower. When we say people, we're talking about people we talk to actively today. Okay, this is not a year ago. People still having these symptoms from the water. Well, kind of hard to gentrify a city, which is the master plan there, to gentrify the city, push poor people out, push the poor black people out, which ain't just a Flint thing, that's happening everywhere. You can't do that if you still have an active water crisis. That's why hospitals have lied. McLaren Hospital has lied. I think Hurley Hospital is lying. The state of Michigan under the former governor was lying. And the current governor, Whitmer, who the New York Times and CNN has made into some resistance hero because she fought Trump, she is also doing nothing about this. So this is corrupt.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.